I wanted us today to reflect on the scam or fake elections and what we can do and what we cannot do with these scam elections. So the first thing, stopping the elections from happening, we cannot do that. We are not in a position to stop it. First thing. The second thing, there is a number of the countries which will assist organizing elections. They will send observers and they will recognize the election results after elections taking place. And this is also something what we cannot stop. Whatever we do, let's say in this moment, anymore, we cannot stop it. These countries are China, Russia, Belarus, probably India, almost for certain India. I don't know about Bangladesh. And most probably Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. And we don't know Thailand, but probably Thailand as well. And the next thing what can happen, it can also happen that there will be some more countries about whom we don't think in this moment, particularly countries which are members of the Shanghai Cooperation. These are the countries which Russia and China pulled around themselves. And these countries don't know anything about Myanmar, and they might be invited and persuaded by the Russia and China to help in a certain way bring more numbers behind that. So this is something what we cannot influence. Then we have a certain number of the countries, and this is where it is important for us. We have a certain number of the countries which will not help elections. That means they are not assisting now, and very probably they will not send observers. But there is a probability that those countries will recognize elections after the elections will happen. So they will not do anything now, but after elections happened, they might recognize. And here is the danger. Here is the danger that countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, South Korea, Australia will put themselves. So this is where our big battle will be, not only now, but also after the elections, and I would say for the next 8 months, 2 months before elections and 6 months after, to prevent those countries from recognizing election result. The third group of the countries are the countries which will reject elections. They will say, we don't accept elections. They are not free and fair. They are not representative and so on. But those countries might feel, even if they reject elections, might feel, not immediately, but 6 months later, to start to enter into the relations with the new fake junta government in Naypyidaw. If the countries in a group number 2 will all move in direction of the recognizing it. And here in these last groups are European Union member states, UK, and we don't know US because it's a big unknown. But they will for sure not recognize it now, but they can move there as well. So on these 2 levels, there will be the big battle now. So in a certain way, what I want you to think in a following way, that we have 5 different categories. One category is countries which are actively supporting and recognizing elections. And this is, China, Russia, and others. Then we have countries which are passively accepting election results. So they are now not helping elections, but very, very soon after elections, they will enter into the negotiations. The next group of the countries are countries which are neutral, which don't care. They will not do one thing or another thing. So they are not important for us at all. And then we have the fourth group, which are countries which are passively not accepting elections. And they are sitting and waiting to see what will happen. And in this moment, I think Malaysia, Indonesia, and they are there. And then we have the fifth category, the countries which are actively opposing and rejecting elections. And in this moment, we don't really have any countries which are seriously, actively opposing and rejecting elections and actively working against that. They are rhetorically on the level of the statements rejecting that, like the European countries, but they also do very little diplomatic effort to move other countries away from the elections. So for us in this moment, the main task is to persuade the countries in a group number 2. These are countries which are passively accepting the elections, to basically move them to passively non-accepting elections. Not rejecting elections. They will not reject, but at least that we move them from passively accepting to passively rejecting, or that they don't move from the passively rejecting them, like Malaysia, Indonesia, and so on, that they don't move in a passively accepting that. So that will be the kind of first big battle, which is advocacy and diplomatic task for us. The second big battle will be, are we able to endure the resistance on the ground and keep alliance strong enough after the elections so that countries in a group number 1, countries which are now betting on elections, that they countries realize that the elections didn't give them results which they hope that elections will give to them. Because we cannot persuade now China or India or maybe Thailand for not actively supporting elections. But they expect that elections will lead to the de-escalation of the conflict, that elections will lead to the ceasefires, and that elections will lead to the stability in Myanmar, which will give them opportunity to reactivate their economic and other projects. So they have a very clear expectations why they are supporting elections, what they think that will happen. And if these things don't happen after some time, they will then, let's say, start for the first time to kind of be suspicious whether betting on the elections and betting on a junta has been a right choice for them. My estimation is that it will take them at least 1 year after elections, if we sustain resistance, that they then say, oh, betting on a junta's election has been a wrong choice for us. So, we are a little bit in a following situation. If you imagine kind of the balance, currently the balance look like this, that there are certain number of the countries which are recognizing elections. So it's like this. And then we have a bigger number of the countries which are reluctant, which are undecided, which are still kind of thinking where they should be. So the situation is like this. If in one moment the countries from these undecided groups start to move in direction of the more and more engagement with the post elections Nepido government, then what will happen? The things will go in this direction, and then other countries will kind of squeeze down there. So what is our task? Our task is to prevent this equilibrium or kind of the disbalance go like that, and keep on returning it, and at least keep it in this kind of unstable, unsecure situation. We cannot get it like this. We are simply not in that situation. So we need to prevent this. So that means we need to somehow find a way how we kind of balance that the countries don't go, significant critical mass of the countries don't go in direction of the recognizing the junta government. How we can do it, to kind of balance it. Keep a lot of countries in this delaying situation, non-recognizing, not rejecting, but not recognizing, keep them in a minimum engagement with the future junta government. How we can achieve that? There are three things what will be very good for us. And part of our discussion today will be, can we achieve that? So I will first outline what is what is good for us. First is, I think I mentioned it last time, junta will create the fake civilian government. So now with this fake civilian government, we need to create something kind of the new, which looks credible. I call it credible political alternative, which will compete for the claim who is more legitimate. So this is the first thing what we need to do. The second thing, it will be very, very good and very necessary to have some military successes on the revolutionary side, so that we offset, that we reduce the harm of the junta military successes on the international perception what's happening in Myanmar. Because current international perception is that junta is regaining the control. So they look now more probable winner. And if somebody looks more probable winner, then a lot of countries are making calculation, okay, then we need gradually to go and basically follow what China and other big, powerful countries in the regions are doing. If we create a situation and we sustain in a longer period after the elections that junta is not kind of winning, that junta is not stabilizing control over country, and that junta is not capable to recreate conditions for the economic activities for the neighbors which are interesting in these economic activities. In that moment, again, the balance will go somewhere kind of more balance. So this is the second thing what we need. And the third thing, we need much better diplomatic engagement from our revolutionary players with the key countries. And I underline diplomatic. I don't say advocacy or campaigning. I really think, let's say, that we are now in a situation that it's critically important for the revolutionary forces to create the joint foreign affairs team and start systematically to place the trusted few people in each key country, and basically who do the daily work with the policymakers and everybody influencing policymakers. Let's say kind of the very patient daily work. And this is something else than what we are doing now, like on the campaigning against the elections. The campaigning should need to continue to be done by the civil society and strike groups and so on. But we need far better diplomacy on the revolutionary side. So this is how I see the situation in which we are now. And let me just now kind of move us to the discussion today. So I will repeat this main message which I shared with you in documents which I sent, is that currently basically 90% of our effort around the junta scam elections is a negative campaigning. We are doing a lot of things trying to kind of discredit elections. But as I am describing you, that has a very limited impact. And that will have it still has an important impact because it is keeping the certain number of important countries not to swing on the side of the endorsing elections. But that is not moving them to the direction of the rejecting elections. In that sense, it is insufficient. It is necessary, but it is insufficient. What we need is a strong positive campaigning, which is promoting and showing that there is a credible political alternative, which is in a certain way more credible than what junta will produce with the fake elections. And I do believe, I might be wrong, and you might disagree with me, but I do believe that we can have that only if we create a new entity. That keeping our, if you want, our horses in a race against the junta's fake civilian government, if our only horses in a race are the bodies created after the coup in the first period of the Spring Revolution, that means NUG, CRPH, NUCC, I don't think that is enough for the race in which we are now. And the second thing, I don't think that the bottom-up federal bodies are enough for this race. That we need kind of from these elements which we have, from these genuine political forces which we have, they need jointly to create the kind of the new joint body. What are the three possible scenarios, which I think, let's say, how things can develop from now on? One possible scenario is the survival of the military regime, that they will get partly recognition. That will help them get more resources for their ongoing war and ongoing pressures against the revolutionary forces. And then basically that leads to something what I call domino effect. Kokhan signed the ceasefire, Tang signed the ceasefire under the pressures, and then the next one kind of enter into that, and then gradually we have a domino, and in one moment these dominoes basically can consolidate the regime survival. So this is one scenario. The second scenario is that we succeed to strengthen our alliance, create these kind of the political new body, dig ourselves very, very deep in a defense position, and then basically kind of the competing with these junta elections with the stronger card in our hands. So this is kind of, and this best scenario still means kind of a big uncertainty whether we will succeed and a lot of hardship. And the third scenario is that we basically remain in a situation like we are now. That means that we have this kind of fragmented leadership, and then we try to dig deep through the fragmented leadership. So not through the most successfully united, politically uniting our forces, but remaining kind of the half united. We still cooperate, but half united, and then try to hold defensive positions in that way. This second scenario will mean that we, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, that we switch to the understanding that we are really in a very long struggle. So that we stop thinking about, what will happen in a 2 years time, but we really switch to the 5 years or longer struggle. We still need to kind of avoid the domino effect. And then basically try the combination of the defending as much as we can defend what we have now, having some setbacks, but still defending as much as we can, and then ongoing guerrilla struggle in the, beyond the territory which we control, so that in a certain way we continue exhausting junta and continuing preventing them to consolidate. And we accept that we cannot create the political unity which will look credible for the outsiders. And they say, okay, we cannot achieve it for understandable reason, but we will keep at least the level of the pragmatic collaboration. And from time to time, we will pool resources together to kind of achieve a little bit, more important strategic gains. But then again, everybody will, in a certain way, sit back in their own liberated territory and do all what they can or what we can to defend that. So this is kind of the second scenario, which is in a certain way bringing me back to this famous Mao quote, which said that in a certain way the time is on our side as long as we are capable to maintain the guerrilla resistance. Because as he said, as long as we don't lose, we are winning. Because for somebody who is claiming that he wants to everybody internationally to see him as a central government, that one needs to deliver control over a significant part of the country. And if he is not able to do it, then in a certain way he is losing because he cannot do it. So this kind of the second scenario. I don't know whether I can call it good scenario because it means the struggle will continue a long time and it will continue to be very, very hard. So what I wanted now, let's say, to do is I wanted to divide you in 3 groups. And then if in each of these 3 groups, if you can discuss following questions. Which of these 3 scenarios you think is the most probable one? So we don't then discuss what we wish to happen. We just discuss what is the probability of these scenarios and which one is the most probable one. The first question. The second question is, how we can create the credible political alternative, kind of a new political leadership body, which can compete with the fake junta government. And not only how we can do it, but also when we can do it. Can we do it before elections, or can we, or we need more time, so we cannot do it before elections, but we can do it sometimes later. So this is the second important question. And the third question is, if we cannot create this kind of new political leadership structure, then what are the main obstacles? And an honest analysis, what are the main obstacles, and how we can avoid these obstacles. Because there are underlying real reasons why it is hard. So if we understand them well without blaming anybody, but understanding them probably, then we can ask ourselves how we can overcome that. So these are, very, very serious questions, but the questions which are really, in a certain way, critically important for us in this moment, to be discussed on the level of the political leadership of the revolution from all groups, but also from every single of us. Let's say that we in a different groups ask ourselves honestly these kind of the important questions. And that's what I wanted us to do.